was robbed. I was robbed in April of 2019, and it's one of the saddest experiences in my life that I can't seem to get out of my head. Usually, I'm not so good with memories. I'm not so good with remembering details of things that happened to me over the course of my life, or giving, if you ask me to give you details about, let's say, a certain phase of my life, I may miss out some very vital things just because I don't really remember them. But then this one experience that happened to me, sad experience, is something that I can't just get out of my head. It won't just go. Like, I remember in detail everything from the beginning till the very end. So let me get into the gist. I live in Abuja, and one day in April, I can't remember the exact day, but it was in April. In April of 2019, in, in April of 2019, I had a delivery to make. And this delivery was going to be in Zone 5. Zone 5 is a place in Abuja. Now, it was just a typical evening. I was leaving the house at about, say, 5. Yes. So I felt, okay, I'll just dash there, deliver this stuff quickly, and get back home as soon as I can. And then I left my house, and then I headed towards Zone 5. I got to Bega. Bega is a very busy bus stop in Abuja, and there are many taxis there that you can board to your next point of call, to the next place you're supposed to end up in. So here I was standing in Bega, looking out for the next taxi to enter. And then while I was standing there, a taxi pulls up in front of me, and there were people already in the taxi. So it pulled up in the place where those taxis, the green, if you're familiar with Bega, Abuja, you know there are some places where there are long buses that load towards the Nyanya Maraba axis, and then little cabs too are there, green cabs, and then some are not even green. They are regular taxis we call along here in Abuja. So this car pulls up with people inside and was shouting Zone 5, Zone 4, along. So I said Zone 5, and they said yes, I should enter. So I entered inside. Unbeknownst to me, I was the only good non-robber in that car. The rest of them were robbers. Now, there's a difference between 419 and armed robbers in Abuja. 419 starts with that story of, we have one bag with money in the boots, and all of those very bizarre stories about currencies and all. And when you listen to it, you know that there's something off about this conversation. In this case, these people were armed, like it was proper armed robbery. So I entered the car, and then we started moving. And since I wasn't conscious of my environment, yes, I would say that I wasn't, because I felt, okay, everybody's inside this taxi and we're all going along, maybe some Zone 4, some Zone 5. So everybody is supposed to be normal, or so I thought. Now, while we're going, the car branched just that turn by the filling station after you pass Bega. The road that opposite is Sky Memorial. Please, if you are used to Abuja, you understand what I'm saying, that turn. And so they turned there. And I'm like, okay, the roads are interconnected. So somehow they are going to take me to where I was going to. That was my thought. And then when they branched, the next thing that happened, when you lock your car, that sound that it makes, that sound that happens when the driver locks the car, I will never, ever forget that sound in my life. Because it was the last sound I heard before I heard, give me your phone. So immediately they said, give me your phone. Another person bent my head down, and then the battery began, like serious beating. Give me your phone. Give us your bag. Give us your money. What do you have? Where are you going to? Who are you? What do you do? I didn't even know which one to start answering. And I'm like, okay, Here's the phone, here's the bag. I wasn't answering that way, Sha. I was just giving it to them. Phone, bag, ATM, whatever they're asking me about, I was just giving it to them, because at that time, my mind had told me that I was in trouble, and the best thing I had to do was just cooperate, because I had seen that they were armed. So they asked me where I was going to. I told them, and they said, what do? You look like a student. Are you a student? And I said, yes, I was a student. Actually, that time I was doing my master's, so of course I was a student. And was I doing my master's? Oh well. I wasn't doing my master's. I was done with my master's, but just those preliminary things they do before you collect your certificate, so I could as well pass for a student. So they said, are you a student? Yes. How come you're only with one ATM? Call people to send you money. All this while they were driving around zone 4, zone 5, zone 7, all those places they were moving around. And by this time it was about 6 p.m. thereabouts. People were moving around their daily activities. They didn't know that robbery was going on in the car that was passing beside them. And I couldn't say anything, because if they had threatened me all manner of threats. They will kill me, they will do all manner of stuff, and I was too afraid. Because when you're in situations like that, your life flashes before you. When people say that thing of, my life flashed before me, I really don't understand. I didn't understand till that day. I thought about my parents, I thought about my brothers, I thought about my friends. I knew that, God forbid anything happens to me, they are not going to recover, especially my parents. So the best thing was to just cooperate with whatever thing they needed. So we got moving, and then they started asking about money, phone. I had a very brand new phone then. It was painful, but I had to give it to them. I had to unlock it before giving it to them. Now, one thing I failed to do was to delete the debit alerts and credit alert transactions in my phone. So from the transactions, they could see that I had some cash. Another good thing I did before that day, as if, I don't want to say, no, just an unfortunate situation, right? Prior to that day, I had a conversation with my colleagues at work about not saving in the bank, at least moving the chunk of your money or whatever savings you have to a platform that you cannot easily access. And then I had a friend who said that, okay, she has an account that she doesn't have an ATM and she just saves her money there. Neither does she receive transaction notifications there. Now, I have another platform I use, so I just shifted mine there. Now, what was in my account, what was left in my account was just day-to-day cash. If you sum up everything, so somehow, somewhere around, say, 50K, thereabout, if you sum up everything in the other account. So they saw that, okay, there was small money in this account, small money in that account. So why are you with one ATM? They were mad at the fact that I was with one ATM card, and they tortured me for that. While all this was going on, I was praying. I prayed all the prayer I know how to pray. That prayer, when you've prayed every prayer that you know how to pray, and just remember that God is hearing. God was with me. Like, I was just praying, God, please save me from this thing alive. God, please let these people not hurt me. Let no harm come to me. So while I was praying, while all this was going on, they drove me to an ATM. They said I should tell them my PIN. If I give them a wrong PIN, they were going to kill me and everything. I gave them the PIN, and then one of them went to the ATM to withdraw. Now, amongst the thieves, there was a bigger thief. Who was the guy who went to withdraw from the ATM? I will explain. This guy went to withdraw from the ATM and came back and told his team that the ATM swallowed my card. So I was happy that, oh, okay, ATM swallowed my card, so they couldn't get my cash out. But it was a lie. This guy withdrew my money, pocketed it, came and told them that the ATM swallowed my card, and of course he would have that money to himself. Because when I got home, I found the ATM he claimed that was swallowed in my bag. It was squeezed, and then I got the whole debit alert thing. So amongst the thief, there was a bigger thief. Sad stuff. So I was still held hostage. To tell you how intense this robbery was, I was robbed from that sometime around 5:36-ish to around 9. That's how much they held me hostage, driving around from one place to the other. God, who is this bike guy that decided to pass now that I'm giving gist? Please, never mind neighbors passing on their power bikes. So at some point they were like, the cash is too small, I should call somebody to send them money. And I told them, everybody around me is a student, we don't have money, I don't know who to talk to, I don't know who to call. And I was still praying under my breath. And then one irony about this is I was chatting with my brother shortly before this incident happened. So all of a sudden I stopped chatting. I'm sure in his mind, my elder brother, he was like, okay, maybe I got busy, that's why I didn't reply. So he didn't bother to say, okay, let me check on her to see if what's wrong, why didn't she reply. I honestly don't blame him, because we weren't chatting about any emergency stuff. It was just regular chat. So I'm bringing this up to say, sometimes if you don't hear from someone for a while, it's good to just check up. How are you doing? But I don't blame him in this situation. Like I said, it was an emergency chat and we're just catching up on lost times. So luckily for me, they told me they were going to drop me off and push me out of the car. And I'm like, fine, please just drop me off. Take whatever you want to take and just drop me off. So they drove me to the back of Unique Gardens in Wuse. Very lonely road, no lights. Trees have grown so much that they formed an umbrella. You know, those kind of roads. So it was really lonely. People were not moving. So they said they would push me out of the car and I shouldn't make a sound. And that's how they pushed me out, threw out my bag. And I've never been more confused, and I don't know how to describe how I felt when they pushed me out. I was confused, I was angry, I was crying, I was looking so battered. And then to worsen it, I didn't even know where I was. I was like, where am I? Because they had turned so much, I felt we had left Wuse entirely. So while standing there, I went to look for where they threw my bag to. It was somewhere in the bush. And then when I found my bag, I found that they had left I had this small touchlight Nokia phone then. So it was of no use to them. So they left it for me. And that's how I picked up that phone, walked into Unique Gardens, and then I met the security man there, who now told me where I was. So he told me this is Unique Gardens. I could see ShopRite. So that's how I was able to make the necessary phone calls. And then my friend came to deliver me from that unfortunate incident. And don't get me started by the time I went to the police station. Whoa! The police is not your friend. That's just it. Summary of it. Nigerian police is not your friend. Sorry to say, it's just the truth. Because as distraught as I was, and as worn out, turned out as I was, all they cared about was me to give them money to buy file, to buy paper and pen for me to draft my report, because of course I had to draft a robbery report for my phones and for the other valuable things they took, so that if it is used, I'm not implicated. And that's how they taxed me that night. I had to tell them that they robbed me. Look, I was robbed here and there's nothing on me. Where do you expect me to get the money from? That's how I was able to write. And they said I should come for a statement the next day, and that I shouldn't come empty-handed. They were so emphatic on that. And I thought they were kidding till I went there the next day and they asked me if I came with something, and I said no. They said I wasn't ready. Thank God for friends. Thank God for good connections. One of my very good friends was able to link me up, took me out of that whole place and took me somewhere else where I was able to get a statement, a police statement, to vindicate me from whatever future stuff they want to use my phone and any other thing to do. But moving on from that day, if I'm in a car and that sound of the lock comes on, it takes me all the way back to that night. Like it took long for me to stop being paranoid, because I can't start going into the other situations I had that kept reminding me about that day. I was so paranoid. I was so paranoid of vehicles. I didn't go out much that period. If I was going out, I needed to be sure of where I was going to, who I was going with. It was just a very stressful time. And not to say that it hasn't affected my movements in Abuja till now. It has, because I'm very careful with the places I go to, the means with which I used to go to those places. It was just a sad time in my life that I cannot seem to forget. And it's a story that I can always tell over and over again. citing every minute details. This is a YouTube video, so I can't go into all the nitty gritties of everything just so I don't bore you. But then I was robbed in Abuja. So thank you guys for watching, and if you live in Abuja, please just be careful, because lately the cases have even increased. Like, there are 419ers, there are kidnappers, there are people robbing. If nobody is robbing you, somebody is trying to rob you. It's just one sad situation to the other, and it's just unfortunate that that's the way things are now in the country. And I just do hope that things get better with time. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe to this channel and comment and share and like. Thank you so much. Till I come again next weekend. This is Adiya.